Hey guys, it's Mongolian Mindset, and today we got Thomas. We got Thomas says his name because I can't fucking say
Zarathustra.
it. And today we're gonna be doing a team typing, guys. He's been looking at JFK for a while. I told him we'll do it together, so it's gonna be interesting. We gotta look and see what the monkeys over at Personality Database got JFK as. We do use Linda Berens Interaction Styles and Temperament combined with cognitive functions. They got him as an ESFP, right? What do you guys think about that? ESFP, guys? President, highly unfucking likely. I would say that.
Mhm.
Highly fucking unlikely. ESFP gonna blow themselves up way before they get to the White House. So guys, ESFPs here, they have tactical intelligence, right? They're informative, they're initiating their movement. Concrete, disgusting interest is what I would say, because FI interest is disgusting interest. Pragmatic, and yeah, they have more of a tactical approach to things. So yeah. You guys can hear this, right? Let's go for it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got a shitty interview because JFK, it's fucking old, dude.
Federal reaction to that instantly?
Well, we've been in touch with the school board. It was the school board that carried out the court order to provide for a integration of the schools. There had been order, so in a sense, the governor's action comes, I think, as some surprise to the local community. This matter will then, of course, be taken back to the federal court, who will then make a judgment as to what action should be taken, and then it will be up to the school board to implement that court decision. And of course, this is a matter, because it is a federal court, in which the federal government will have a responsibility. I'm hopeful it can be worked out by the people there. That's our ambition. But this is a matter for the federal court to determine and for the United States to implement.
In other words, you don't.
I could say it's systematic.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking. I was thinking systematic. He's explaining the system.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
breaking down the system there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
He's acting very systematic.
and I mean, to me, it seemed kind of like a failure there because he was like, he's saying like it's up to them to decide, but we'll just
Yeah.
go with systematic. I would say that was a failure, but
Intend any immediate
because
action.
I mean, if we took Trump ain't letting nobody decide shit. You really not letting nobody
He
decide
just
shit.
it's
You know,
just
but
ORs coming out of the White House.
hmm
To get those students into school today or tomorrow.
I think we are checking now to see what the
And hey, guys, don't speak up if you see something. Just say it. I'll stop the video. Right?
Yeah.
local school board is going to do. I should think by the end of the day, we'll know whether the school board is going to take the matter to the court. If they don't take the matter to the court, then of course a responsibility will fall upon the Department of Justice.
Do you have any idea what the Department of Justice could do in this particular search?
Affiliative. All about the responsibility of who
Yeah.
and delegation, systematic.
Yeah,
He's
affiliative.
doubling down on that.
Yeah, like the right course of action there.
And
Right. Yeah.
I think it's
And
coming off pretty direct, right?
yeah, for sure,
Indirect.
direct. And
Direct.
There's
I
There's
think
nothing-
no, there's nothing
nothing-
informative here.
when he
Yeah.
also when he was saying it's their decision, I think that might be extroverted intuition. The one you stopped at the first time, he's like, oh, it's their decision. That
Yeah,
might
yeah.
be. I
That's a
think
good point.
that's extroverted
Yeah.
intuition.
Yeah, that's a
Their
good point there.
perspectives, like accounting for them. Yeah, that's a good point, Thomas.
Good shit, Tom. So we're going to go ahead and knock off direct. And if he's direct, based off that, he cannot be an ESFP. ESFPs are informative and they're initiating. So, guys, that's already gone. Personality dummy base, you're out. Fucking out of here already.
Circumstance?
They could take the matter to the federal court. The federal court would then issue an order,
They could
which would be up to them. If they issued an order compelling the schools to open, then the order would have to be carried out. We would hope it would be carried out by the local school board, and that the governor would permit the federal court order to be implemented. We'll have to see that over the next days.
Mr. President,
I don't like having to intervene in these matters. This should
I don't like to intervene in these matters, right? Well, you say that's affiliative,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
don't
He's
like to
taking.
intervene.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, or at least he
I
wants
don't
the
like
I mean,
appearance.
because if you want to say like affiliative, they like roles to be assigned, right? So if
Yeah.
you like roles to be assigned, like everybody kind of has a role, so they just want them to do the role. So he doesn't want to intervene. I would say it's like more of an affiliative approach.
To intervene in these matters, this should be settled by a local authority. It was being settled by them. And I think that's the way it ought to be settled. On the other hand, of course, we have a constitutional responsibility.
Responsibility, right? Responsibility.
Yep. Mr. President, with the Tuskegee action today and a riot in Plaquemine Parish last night in Louisiana, I'm wondering if it seems to indicate that perhaps Senator Stennis was right and that what looked like the very successful March on Washington last week has instead got the South's back up and solidified them in their resistance.
You know, there's been difficulties in the North, too, this last week, so that this is a continuing problem. The march was an episode, an important one, because I think it was an impressive manifestation of the strong desire of a good many responsible citizens for equal.
Talking about strong desire, right? Any. Right? About other people's desire, any.
Equal treatment. This problem has been with us for 100 years and even before, and it was going to be with us for a good many months and years to come. The Negroes are 10% of our population. To bring them into a full life in the American society with all that that means is going to be a long job. And you're going to have difficulties in various states, north and south, east and west. But they are here. They are given the promises of the Constitution, and we have to do what we can to see that those promises are carried out. That's the responsibility, to me, of this generation.
Right. Sounds
and
like
some TE with some data.
TE data there.
Also referencing the past.
Referencing the past.
SI.
SI. Yeah, guys, we're looking like this guy's ESTJ. Okay.
Yeah, this personality database really got this one wrong.
Yeah, we'll keep going for fun.
Of Americans, north and south, east and west, even though it presents us with a good deal.
And if you see how he's talking, there's no process to it. It's
just outcomes. He's not talking about any steps to get anywhere. He's just saying, well, we need to do it to ensure this. That's like in the context here, he's just talking about outcomes. Whereas like if you were progression, he might just talk about the steps to get to more integration or something. Like what
a good many harassments.
How seriously do you think this civil rights situation is going to affect your chances, assuming you'll be the nominee of the Democratic Party next year in 1964?
Well, obviously it's going to be a important matter. It's caused a good deal of feeling, I suppose, against the administration in the South. I suppose in other parts of the country. Whenever you have a issue upon which people feel so strongly, quite obviously has its political effects. So I would say it would be an important matter. On the other hand, I'm hopeful that both parties, Republicans and Democrats, will commit themselves to the same objective of equality of opportunity. I would be surprised if the Republican Party, which after all is the party of Lincoln, and is proud of that fact, as it should be, I would be surprised if they did not also support the right of every citizen to have equal opportunities, equal chance under the Constitution. No sense in blaming it, of course, on Washington.
I mean, yeah, man, it's seeming...
SI and outcome really standing out here.
T name drop there as well.
T name drop,
Lincoln there,
Party of Lincoln.
That's a
Party of Lincoln.
Convenient place to blame it, and I suppose that's one of the reasons why we're there. But this is a problem which goes into every community across the country, every family, and everyone has to make a decision. It's going to take time. I think it's finally going to be done, but we're trying to do something much more difficult than any other country's ever done. A good many of the people who advise us so generously abroad have no comprehension of what a difficult task it is that faces the American people in the 60s. But I think that the United States government, I believe both parties, and I think the great mass of opinion is in favor of making progress along these lines. And of course the most important area is finally going to be education, which ties into jobs. You have education, equality of education, educational opportunity, and you find, I think, gradually equality in employment, and then you find the great hump of the hill over, past.
Do you think you'll lose some Southern?
All right, that's like fucking outcome. It's fucking outcome. Education here, close there, outcome.
States in 64?
Yeah. Well, I lost some in 60, so I suppose I'll lose some, maybe more in 64. I don't know. It's too early to tell, but I would think I'm not sure that I'm the most popular political figure in the country today in the South, but that's all right. I think that we'll have to wait and see a year and a half from now. Well, a year now. Not that long.
You making any estimate as to who your opponent might be in 64?
No, there's a good many of them.
Got any choices of who you'd like to run again? Either to put the issues before the people or otherwise?
That's a great mistake. I know some Republicans chose me in 60 as their favorite candidate, but so I know I can choose anybody. I'll let them choose.
I'll let them choose any.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to choose.
Yeah, he doesn't want to choose.
It will become a little different when, of course, the Republicans have finally chosen a candidate who has to run north, south, east, and west, stand on a platform of the Republican Party. And it seems to me we'll have a clearer alternative.
What do you think the issues might be in 64?
Well, of course, broad will be the security of the United States, our efforts to maintain that security, to maintain the cause of freedom. At home, I think it's going to be the economy, the state of the economy, jobs, opportunity.
Economy, jobs. It's like, bro.
Outcomes.
It's crazy. It's just like crazy, like fucking outcomes.
The outcome gavel.
For all Americans, what we've done in the field of education, what we've done in the field of resource development, conservation, all the rest. I would say the vigor of the American economy and the American society at home, the security of the United States abroad.
Mr. President, this, after all, is Labor Day, and there are almost 5 million Americans who don't have very much to celebrate this Labor Day. It's another day of unemployment for them. Do you see any real hope in a booming economy where we still have to have this many unemployed, that in the next, say, 5 years, a second term for you, for instance, we can find a solution to this problem?
Well, there's no magic solution that suddenly is going to emerge. What it is, it seems to me, a combination of actions, which we're trying to take. What we have to realize is to even stand still, stay still, we have to move very fast. We have 2.5 million more people working than when I came to office, and yet
2.5 numbers, TE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1.5 million more people have come into the labor market. Now, this is going to be made even more difficult because in the next 2.5 years, we're going to have about 5.5 million people come to the labor market searching for jobs, and about 2.5 million of those won't have finished high school. So this is very difficult. When you talk about the unemployed, and that statistic, you first realize there are almost 70 million Americans working. And
so guys, if you're taking anything from this is like fucking TE, dude. It's like TE.
Yeah.
Nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how the fuck.
TE Dom.
I don't know how the fuck. I mean, whatever.
We're steadily increasing their prosperity.
ESFP.
ESFP is hilarious.
But there are this very hardcore of unemployed. Some of them are in the old coal areas, where they don't need those people now, and yet so they can't find work and they're older. The Appalachian region particularly. Eastern Kentucky, West Virginia, parts of Pennsylvania, parts of Indiana, parts of Ohio, southern Illinois. Then there's the steel unemployment in the big cities, Pittsburgh, Youngstown, Gary. It's very difficult to find work for them. Then we have the combination of the older workers who have been thrown out of work because of technology, and then we have the younger people coming in, many of whom are uneducated. Now, 50 years ago, they could have either been a job on the farm or they could have been doing manual labor.
Referencing the past, right? And referencing options as well. Yeah.
Machines are taking the place of manual labor, and people are steadily moving off the farms because we're producing so much. The answer, it seems to me, lies in a whole variety of programs. The tax cut, I think, is most important. That would be an $11 billion tax cut in a period of 18 months. We're not doing this.
I mean, I think it's like you can't get around the TE here, guys. You can't get around the
TE
this guy has. Like,
okay.
Yeah, TE.
Not getting any
definitely.
TI.
No TI. It's just facts. It's not facts. It's
Data.
statistics, and it's outcomes, and it's affiliative. There's a huge difference between like ENTJs and ESTJs, right? The FI inferior, you won't notice as much, and an ESTJ as you would an ENTJ, because it's like they're more pragmatic about it. While like ESTJs try to become perfect. I feel like I think they like try to become perfect people, right? You see like Barack Obama and stuff like that. They just overall try to become like perfect people. While like ENTJs have that SE, so that they're usually trying to flaunt that SE a little bit more, like look more powerful stance, right? So if you're ever struggling between ESTJ and ENTJ, you can always kind of use that trick there. You'll see it's like Donald Trump, he's trying to take up as much room as he can in a situation, trying to like not look
Even
weak.
even their body language, where I notice the NTJs have to have more of an expansive positioning of their body, like even like how Trump sits, or even Patrick Bet David, they got to take up as much space on the table. Like
Yeah. Wow,
this is my territory, where ESTJs are a little more narrowed in.
Yeah, they're more narrowed in. I would also say like they don't struggle as bad as the pragmatic types with understanding how people like they may not understand or don't care about how people feel, but they go about it in an affiliative way so it can buffer it quite a bit. As in like you get like an
Yeah.
INTJ like Thomas, or you get an ENTJ like me, we can't really buffer it because we're pragmatic at the same time, right? While they can kind of hide theirs, right? Maybe that like somebody else will say behind the scenes, like, "Oh, this person's a tyrant" or something. They'll say that about like ESTJs behind this, like, because behind the scenes they're
Yeah,
a totally different person. Um, but when they get up to that podium, they're talking perfectly, like perfect. Like Tom Brady, he can do some piece of shit on the field, and then when he gets on the podium, joggy, wally guys, the person over there is amazing. I love this guy and all this other. Like, bro, you don't really feel like that, but they're doing the feel of what's the right thing to do.
Just because, though, of course, everybody would like to have their taxes reduced, but the major reason is because of the lift it will give the economy, the assurance it will give us against another recession. $11 million in the economy multiplies, it's spent, and will bring a increase of nearly $30 billion, $30 to $35 billion. This can, I think, be the single most important step. In those areas where...
Single most important FI. Okay, are we done here, guys? We done?
yeah.
We want to go more, Thomas? What you feeling?
I mean, I don't think we need to go more. I mean, I think it's pretty clear what his type is.
Yeah, sure. So we're going ahead and knock him off. He's an ESTJ. Pretty easy for us to see. Not ESFP. So ESTJs. Thomas, you want to go over what they are? Initiating.
Yeah, they're direct. They're initiating their outcome. Concrete.
Yeah.
Direct, concrete, and what am I missing?
Systematic and affiliative.
Affiliative. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And outcome.
Yeah, I think I got outcome.
Yeah, you got that. So I mean, like we said, it's pretty easy to see. You're gonna see strong TE data, empirical data. You're gonna see that with ESTJs a lot. But they're not as like super initiating, right? They're more kind of refined. I would say they're more refined. Is what I would use. Refined.
What, ESTJs?
Yeah, refined.
Yeah.
They appear polished.
Yeah. I would say
especially
yeah, go ahead.
Especially in terms of their presentation and communication style. They relatively sound eloquent and and that's kind of like the same almost with ISTJs, except ISTJ is probably a little more I mean, they're a little more behind the scenes, although they're a finisher type. But yeah, it's very similar in that regard.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go 1 for him. He's a 1. I'd go 1 W2.
Oh, you think he's a 1?
I think. What do you think?
I was thinking because he's ESTJ, probably a 3, but
yeah, I mean, you could be 3 or 1.
Think it's a social 3 or no? That doesn't fit.
No, I don't think so. He'd be flaunting way more. I
Yeah.
think the 1 aligns with like morals and principles and doing the right thing a lot of times.
Yeah, that's true.
Usually like ESTJs are usually gonna hit a 1. And I don't think he has a history of like being an overachiever. If you think about JFK's history, I mean, I read the book. he seems, I don't know if that would be his number one thing, would be like
I think he
an
did
True.
go to Harvard though.
well, his
I think
family's
all the
rich though.
Kennedys went to Harvard.
Yeah, true. I
His
know.
family, that's his family, you know. They,
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they essentially were saying that his brother was supposed to be the one that was supposed to be the
Yeah,
politician.
Yeah, his brother
yeah,
Joseph, who died in the World War II.
Yeah, he was supposed
yeah.
He
to
was
be the.
yeah, he was supposed to be the one, but he died, and then
Hmm.
I guess JFK was the second oldest, so it became him.
Yeah,
Yeah, and besides, JFK is still a war hero.
yeah, yeah. He is. He did do that. So I
Yeah,
mean, do the
yeah.
right thing, man. I'm gonna hit him for SO. Um,
Yes, I would say definitely socially
yeah,
oriented. Would
yeah.
make the most sense.
And
Um,
maybe what you think of sexual or SP behind it. The sexual one is kind of like the reformer. I kind of see a lot of judges. You would see like they'd be pressing down on people pretty fucking hard. They can
yeah,
they get confused for like ENTJs and shit because they're so like they're trying to reform other people. I think he's a little bit more chill. Um, so I'm gonna hit him with SP, man.
SP.
Yeah. What do you think about subtype?
Um, Probably normalizing, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling normalizing. I mean,
Yeah.
possibly you could hit him for dominant, but
Nah, I'm not really
I'm not
seeing the
really seeing
dominant.
it because usually the dominant ESTJs are those fucking judges. Like you can't even like if we pulled up like Judge Joe Brown or something,
I
you
was
heard
about
him
to
talk.
say him.
Like he is trying to reform people like all the time. Like this
Yeah,
motherfucker needs to go to prison for like he'll be like this person needs to do their time in prison and whatever. Like it's very like he's
Yeah.
trying to reform
yeah.
through that one. So you would see more dominant from him. Any takeaways we want to say before on this?
Um, I don't know. I kind of wish some of these politicians weren't all ESTJ. Like, it's like how many like out of the last 10 presidents, I think more than half of them have been like ESTJs. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. I
I
just
mean, I
think that
think maybe Nixon was an ISTJ.
you
no,
could,
I think he was ESTJ too.
probably,
Nixon, LBJ,
Yeah,
Obama, Biden. It's
yeah.
like
Kamala Harris. I mean, she wasn't the president, but like,
oh yeah, Kamala. I mean,
yeah,
so
I guess it's because you got this look to them, that they're perfect people, right? And then they present that
yeah,
to the world, and the world just buys that shit up, right? And like if you're a pragmatic person, you got some skeletons in the closet, and they'll pull
yeah,
the bitches out on you, right? And a lot of
I
times,
mean,
I think a lot of the pragmatic types will just stay the fuck away from it because it can ruin your life, right? Couple allegations here and there, couple whatever, and now your life's ruined. Like you had a nice, good life. So I think a lot of pragmatic people like just stay the fuck away from it because they don't even want to like be thrown in some allegations. I forget what's that. What was that? Mike Bloomberg? He got the fuck out of there when them allegations started coming out. Like,
really.
yeah,
yeah. You got the fuck out of there, man. Because they, you gotta kind of have that affiliative history because if not, they're gonna use it against you.
Hmm.
yeah, but I think you could. I think some of them get away with it more. It depends
Yeah,
on the scale. Like some
I-
people, some jury of public perception is a wild thing.
yeah. I mean, I would say the most important thing about that is like people cancel themselves by stopping. So you got to keep pushing through. Like if you take notes on the people who like push through, like Kanye West or whatever, like they just never stop. So like they, even though they're supposed to be canceled, they don't cancel because they never stop. Like if you stop, then you let yourself be canceled. Like Andrew Tate and stuff like that, they just keep going, even though they've been canceled. Um,
I do see a slight shift from here forward with some of the pragmatic types are becoming more mainstream. I'm noticing than
yeah.
the affiliatives.
Well,
But I
guys.
mean, I will probably go back. Like the pendulum will swing again.
Hmm.
Event. I mean, I still think like JD Vance is like an ESTJ, which is pretty obvious. So like
Hmm.
Trump's vice VP,
Yeah. Ron
and they
DeSantis.
So
Ron
was
yeah,
so was
DeSantis.
Mike
him too.
Pence.
Yeah. It's like
Wow.
Jesus. It's like ESTJ country, bro. What the fuck? Yeah. Well, guys, it's been a pleasure. We're gonna have people on more, man. But we're out.
All
Anything
right,
else, guys? We're done.
I think so, man.
All right, guys.